الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهداه واتبع طريقه إلى الله. الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام، الحمد لله على نعمة القرآن، الحمد لله على نعمة شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. أيها الأحباب، حق لنا أن نفرح بهذا الفضل من الله سبحانه وتعالى. الله سبحانه وتعالى يقول في قرآنه: قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا. هذا هو الفضل الذي يجب به أن تفرح، هذا هو الذي يجب له أن تهلل وأن تفرح. فضل الله عز وجل، نعمة الله عز وجل. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يدعو الله أن يرزقه هذا الفضل، فكان يقول: اللهم بلغنا رمضان، اللهم بلغنا رمضان. إن شاء الله نستهل هذا اللقاء الإيماني حول ضيف الله المبارك بآيات من الذكر الحكيم يتلوها علينا إن شاء الله ابننا إبراهيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
تكبير، الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله الحمد. الحمد لله رب العالمين. نعمة من الله كبرى، نعمة شهر رمضان المبارك. لكن الله سبحانه وتعالى يقول في قرآنه: ونبلوكم بالشر والخير فتنة وإلينا ترجعون. فإذا كنا نقول إن شهر رمضان نعمة من أجل نعم الله سبحانه وتعالى، طوق من أعظم أطواق النجاة في فيافي هذه الدنيا وقفارها، تنجي المؤمن من خبائل هذه الدنيا، تنجي الدنيا أو تنجي الإنسان الطاهر الذي يريد أن يزكي نفسه، تعينه على أن يسلك الطريق إلى مولاه جل في علاه. لهذا يجب أن نتدبر هذه النعمة وأن نحسن استقبال هذه النعمة وأن نشكر هذه النعمة. هذا الاستعداد وهذا التقبل وهذا الشكر ليس بالكلام بل بمعاني إيمانية وبأحوال يجب أن يحياها المؤمن. حول هذه المعاني وحول هذه الأحوال إن شاء الله يحدثنا أخونا الفاضل مصطفى زيد.
والصلاة والسلام على سيد الخلق وأشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. As Sheikh Ala had said, the companions of Prophet Muhammad used to say sometimes 6 months before the coming of the month of Ramadan, Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. Oh Allah, make us alive, make us there when the month of Ramadan comes in. And subhanAllah, when you think about it, it is like there's a treasure, there is a huge value, a huge opportunity that is about to come. And when someone is so desperate to get to that value, he will supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala: oh Allah, give me the life, give me the ability, make me there so I can benefit from that opportunity, that treasure that is called Ramadan. Before we talk about the tremendous benefits of Ramadan that can change your life spiritually, physically, financially, in every aspect possible, we need to realize the number one thing and the number one aspect that we need to get into Ramadan from. That is, the entire month, the entire happening, every aspect of that month is nothing but a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon ourselves. The two great correct hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I want you to think about it. If you fast the whole month of Ramadan, imanan wa ihtisaban, you fast a month purely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and only hoping for the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 30 days, what would happen? I could be 60 years of age, 70 years of age. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. All your prior sins for that 70 years would be forgiven from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created me to worship Him. He gave me everything that I have for free. My eyesight, my ability, my thinking, my memory, my physical abilities for free. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owes me for nothing. And Allah ghaniyun 'anil 'alamin. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes my sin as is. And when I do a righteous deed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a minimum multiplies it tenfold and sometimes hundreds of times. Yet over the many years, if I accumulate sins, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His mercy, on top of that, if I just fast a month, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will erase my entire sins. And if that is not enough for the mercy and the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, مَنْ قَامَ رَمَضَانَ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. Whoever made qiyam in the month of Ramadan, in the entire month, did not miss one day, on top of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive your entire sins prior to that day. Aside from the rights of other people, money and what's not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will treat you as if you were just born at the end of the month of Ramadan. Can you imagine the generosity and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Subhanallah. But then you get into the month of Ramadan. There are the specific rewards that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had promised the worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كُلُّ عَمَلِ ابْنِ آدَمَ لَهُ إِلَّا الصَّوْمَ فَهُوَ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ. Everything that you do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed it as a benefit to you. And here we spoke before about the meaning of Sharia. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويحل لهم الطيبات ويحرم عليهم الخبائث ويضع عنهم إصرهم والأغلال التي كانت عليهم. Our entire deen is about do and don't. Do is not for the benefit of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is for your benefit. Don't, it is to protect you, not to protect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's with everything that you do in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Except Sawm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives an additional reward from it, and He rewards with it. وَأَنَا أَجْدِي بِهِ is different than when I say, I, Moustafa Zayed, I give a reward for it. Because I reward you according to what I have, according to my abilities. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I reward for it, then we're talking about a total different realm of the limitless generosity and the ability of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you'll get your reward. And it's a tremendous reward. But the one thing that you would be the true winner and you got the true reward of Ramadan if you realize the meaning of Ramadan and what actually it does for you. First of all, in my last book, The Prophecies of Muhammad, we proved that it is a scientific miracle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the correct hadith, marfu'an, sumu tasihhu. Fast, you'll be healthy. And this goes, of course, to the month of Ramadan, and it goes to fasting like the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Mondays and Thursdays and the 3 middle days of the lunar month. Scientists would come and tell you that actually fasting detoxifies the body. And it kicks the longevity gene that would make someone who's like 60 years of age looks like he's 40 years old. And actually CBS did a series of study, and they have a documentary about this. The documentary realized with the scientists that fasting is great. So fast a whole week and then break your fast for another week. Fast an entire month, fast every other day. SubhanAllah, they came to the conclusion, it's an American documentary and it's done by an American TV network. It's not done by Muslims. That if you fast 2 days a week and in the middle within 30 days you fast an additional 3 days, that would give you optimum health. As a matter of fact, there's a company that was sold for $250 million for a product called resveratrol, and actually you can go on the internet and Google it. It is extracted from the skin of grapes, and actually what it does, it kickstart longevity genes that make you, subhanAllah, live longer and be healthier. And the scientists who discovered him on CBS on 60 Minutes said that there's another thing that actually kicks that in, which is long periods of hunger. That is fasting. So right at the outset, when you fast, you do nothing but remedying yourself, giving yourself therapeutic value, increasing the longevity and increasing, inshallah, your lifespan. But then the point that I really want to talk about, and please pay attention to it, because you would have weighed all these values of having our sins forgiven the prior year, and the prior years, having our health, and so on and so forth. It actually goes way beyond that. They did a study. They said, you know what? There's some bicyclist that is competing for the Olympics. What he does is that every other day he rides his bicycle and competes and races for 3-4 hours. And then you have a guy, let's say the guy who distributes newspapers, or the guy who sells something, distribute milk or whatever, distribute on houses, rides his bicycle like 8, 9, sometimes 10 hours a day, every single day. So logic dictates that when you put both of them in a competition, the guy who rides his bike 8 hours or 10 hours a day would be the absolute winner. But subhanAllah, it's totally the opposite. You get the other bicyclist who is training for the Olympics, and he would be, subhanAllah, way better in endurance, in speed, in stamina, and everything. And scientists studies that. Scientists discover that you get what you focus on. Who's training for the Olympics, he's focusing every time he builds on the fact that he wants to increase all these abilities so he can compete, so he can get the gold medal. So his mind, his focus shapes his muscles and give him a tremendous result. But the guy who's throwing the newspapers or selling whatever that he's selling, all he focuses on is to sell the newspaper. And he gets that. And it does not affect him whatsoever, even though he physically, literally practices way more than that. So what do we need to focus on in Ramadan? What we need to focus on is to realize what happens to us in Ramadan. I give you 1 day of your fasting. That your fasting was accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What happened that day? What did you do that day? What was accomplished that day? You did not cheat. You did not lie. You did not steal. You did not backbite. You did not stab anyone in the back. You didn't do anything haram. You were in total obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's orders. You prayed. You did everything till you broke your fast. What does that mean? What that means is that on that day that your fasting was accepted, you have been the best human being and the best Muslim you could possibly be. That's your day that was accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a fasting day. But with the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not let you do that for 1 day or 2 days, day in and day out for 30 days. When you're fasting and are fasting, inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it accepted, you have been a perfect human being. A human being that does not argue, does not hurt, that does not commit any haram, whose conscience of what he's doing, is aware of what's going on, is, subhanAllah, following the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the manners of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as it is. So what it is, we go back to the guy who is going for the Olympic medal. They practice all year round, but the last month before the Olympics, they increase their practice and they focus so much to the limit that they reach their peak performance, so they go there and compete and get their gold medal. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His blessing and mercy, does for us is for the month of Ramadan, shows us that in the same economy, with the same people, with the same circumstances, with the same difficulties, that still it's up to you, all up to you, that you can be the best human being and the best Muslim you can possibly be. And we do that every single year. But what we need to pay attention to is what happens to us. The manners that we carry, the manners that we get used to, the ability to say no when we have to say no, the ability, subhanAllah, to drop food, to drop money, to drop anything that would tempt us to commit anything haram for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we have conditioned our mind and our heart to be in the utmost status of fasting. And subhanAllah, when Prophet Muhammad was asked about his ba'ath, سيد الخلق أشرف المرسلين, حديث الحسن, حديث أبو هريرة رضي الله عنه مرفوعا, إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. The entire ba'ath, the entire deen of Prophet Muhammad his struggle, the revelation of the Quran, his battles, the persecution, all that over 23 years was about makarim al-akhlaq. There's nothing that you can, and there's no month or time or circumstance that you can be that close to the most noble of manners that Prophet Muhammad was sent for, more than the month of Ramadan. So if I focus and I realize what's happening, if I realize that I am strengthening the muscle of Iman, I'm strengthening the muscle of the ability to say no to haram and welcome and do as much as I can of halal, and focus on it and keep it with me beyond the month of Ramadan till the rest of the year, then I have truly won the ultimate reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for me for Ramadan. Prophet Muhammad has this supplication, subhanAllah, Allahumma aj'al khayra a'malina khawatina. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make the best of our deeds our last. So what do you wind up with? So if I wind up through the month of Ramadan, I realize that I'm focusing, there's a muscle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is helping me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy even tie down, chains up the devil so they don't whisper in my mind and make me commit haram and make it so easy for me to gain the manners of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to be the best human being, the best Muslim that I could possibly be, and carry that. So after the month of Ramadan, the things that I knew would break my fast, if I look at that I'm not supposed to look at, I would still not look at. The words, the argument, the things that I know would break my fast, I keep doing that even though I'm not fasting. Carry the manners, carry the benefit of the month with me, then I am the true winner of Ramadan. If we adjust our focus to what happened in the month, subhanAllah, the reward is tremendous. On top of that, try to focus on the manners that Prophet Muhammad was so well known for. You know, manners is like everything else. It's like investments, it's like, choices, it's like marriages, it's like there's good marriages, there's best marriages, there's, there are levels. Prophet Muhammad had this hadith. Hadith Jabir ibn Abdullah wa Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, correct hadith, was corrected by Sheikh Nasruddin al-Albani marfu'a. هل أدلكم على من تحرم عليه النار غدا? Should I tell you about the one that hellfire would be forbidden from him going forward? So everyone want to know. Look at the descriptions of the manners that I want us to focus on, because it's the easiest time of the year that we can gain these manners, and our bodies will be forbidden from hellfire, as per the guarantee from Muhammad. على كل هين لين قريب سهل. على كل هين لين قريب سهل. هين means that you're humble. No matter how much you're knowledgeable, no matter how rich you are, no matter how powerful you are, when you deal with people, you bring yourself down, you humble yourself down to them, not for them, but for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does layin means? Layin is the adjective of the Arabic word lean. And lean means exactly what the English word lenient means. To be flexible with people. You're not confrontational. You're not hard-nosed. You're not out there to argue with people and be stubborn with them. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he described himself, he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, مرفوعا, إن الله لم يبعثني معنتا ولا متعنتا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not send me to be confrontational or stubborn. وإنما بعثني معلما ميسرا. But he sent me as an educator, as a teacher to educate you what? Give you all kind of information in the library? No, the kind of information that will facilitate your life. That is the knowledge of the deen. So, when I'm humble, when I'm lenient, and qareeb, what does qareeb mean? Everything in the world, when you deal with people, you pull into one direction, people are pulling in another direction. Everything is about bargaining what's for me and what's for you, and trying to pull with people, with money, with social matters, with power, with position, with status, everything. Qareeb is a person who's always in the middle. He has, subhanAllah, always a common ground with other people. People can always find a way to interact with him and get things done. Qareeb is the opposite of extreme. And subhanAllah, as a nation, one of the benefits that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises His nation of worshippers with, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. And that's how we created you as a nation of moderacy, a nation of the middle. So subhanAllah, geographically, the point in the middle is the closest point at the same time to the extreme right and the extreme left. And then the last feature of the manners of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, easy. When you buy from them, it's easy. When you sell to them, it's easy. Even when you disagree with them, it's easy. You know that these people are not going to stab you in the back. They're not confrontational. They're not, harsh. They're not hard-nosed. Subhanallah, that is, subhanallah, when you think about these 4 manners, these are the manners of a Muslim who's fasting. If you're fasting, you cannot be other than hayyin, layyin, qareeb, sakin. Another manner that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and it's a beautiful hadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that we need to focus on, because our deen is based upon love and peace. Love for others, what you love for yourself. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, لا تدخلون الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. You'll never get into Jannah till you become believers. There's a license called a believer. You have it, you get into Jannah. How would I get that license? I want to get into Jannah. وَلَن تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُوا. Till you love each other. ألا أدلكم على شيء فعلتموه تحببتم. Should I tell you about that one thing that if you do, you will love each other? He said, بلى يا رسول الله. He said, افشوا السلام بينكم. Spread peace amongst yourselves. Starts with saying assalamu alaikum to all aspects of peace that you could possibly choose. I can argue, I can fight, and I can forgive for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أتركها لله. Then I chose peace over everything in this world. Then I am into Jannah inshallah. What is the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Hadith Sahl ibn Sa'd al-Sa'idi, read hadith marfu'an, al-mu'minu ma'lafatun. Again, al-mu'minu ma'lafatun. A believer is a blood of loving. He loves people, he cares for people, he wishes people well, like he wishes himself, and sometimes even more. وَلَا خَيْرَ فِي مَنْ لَا يَأْلَفْ وَلَا يُؤْلَفْ. And there's nothing righteous, Islamically, religiously, spiritually, in someone who cannot love and cannot be loved. If I, inshallah, get into Ramadan and I be aware of the transformation with the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon me, the shayateen are chained. And subhanallah, it's easy for me, and fasting make it easy for me to open, subhanallah, my heart and open my arms to gain the manners of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam of this humbleness and leniency and nearness and easiness and loving each person around me and wishing them well, and carry that, subhanallah, with worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the month. Then I have won tremendously. It will change your life. It will get you blessings, and things will be so easy for you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it so easy for you like you cannot begin to imagine. The last thing that inshallah I want us to focus on in Ramadan, the month of Ramadan is the month of Quran. Companions of Prophet Muhammad throughout the year, they were doing all righteous deeds that you can possibly imagine and cannot imagine. When it comes to Ramadan, they, subhanAllah, almost drop everything except reading Quran. And there's a big mistake that sometimes we fall in when we think reading Quran as if we open the Quran and make phonetic noises or just pronounce the words of the Quran and that's it, that's the reward. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is generous. And when you put your eye on the words of the Quran, not a reward of 10 hasanat for each word, but for each letter of the Quran, we get the reward. But the companions of Prophet Muhammad did it differently. Abdurrahman ibn Umar ibn Khattab said, and this is also the recipe for them being the masters of their time, achieving miraculously like no other people ever achieved in the history of mankind. He said, موقوفة كنا نحفظ العشر آيات لا ننتقل إلى ما بعدها حتى نعمل بهن. We used to memorize the Quran 10 ayat at a time. And we would not move to reading or memorizing the other 10 ayat till we have applied in our life the orders and the meanings and the directives that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had in the first 10 ayat. Quran is a way of life. Quran is a manual how to process your life. So when you read slowly, with understanding whether your native language is Arabic or not, look for the meaning and understand what the words mean. What is the historical context beyond it mean? And try to learn how to apply that into your life and understand it. Then you will get the full reward and the full impact of the Quran. The Quran is one book, 600 pages that changed the world and still changing the world as we speak. SubhanAllah, last week I had a debate in Sweden with a member of the parliament, with the bishop of Sweden, SubhanAllah, with one atheist liberal, and they started talking about Islam and this and that, and SubhanAllah, I told them what the Muslims have achieved and what they still achieved based on the Quran, based on the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. Wallahi, people did not know what to say. When it comes to economics, when it comes to law, when it comes to social achievements, when it comes to taxation, when it comes to legislations and legal matters, subhanAllah, throughout history, and everything is still valid today, and people are learning for themselves. All that is in the Quran. So when we read, it's not by the quantity, it's by the quality. Read the entire Quran, find the manners, open your heart to the meanings of it, read the stories behind it. Even if it takes time, I'd rather understand one juz of the Quran and apply it to my life than to read the Quran 3-4 times. Just like, as if someone hearing something from one ear and it goes out the other ear. And it's all about the meaning, it's all about the focus, it's all about the sincerity. All these things, all these blessings, health benefits, tremendous rewards of having our sins forgiven, changing our manners, transforming our life, making us the best people that we could possibly be, carrying the reward that wallahi will get us into Jannah, with the manners of Prophet Muhammad that are the manners of the people of Jannah, that their bodies are free from hellfire. We're about to receive that with the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, starting inshallah from Tuesday. Allahumma balighna Ramadan, Allahumma balighna Ramadan, Allahumma balighna Ramadan. الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام، الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام، الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام وكفى بها نعمة. أقول قولي هذا، أستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلنا الرسالة في الحسن إلى الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر والآخر دعوانا الحمد لله.
نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يهل علينا إن شاء الله هذه النفحة باليمن وبالإيمان وبالسلامة والإسلام. نسأل الله عز وجل أن يتقبل منا ومنكم وأن يعفو عنا وعنكم، وإن شاء الله نختتم بدعاء لله عز وجل. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم ربنا صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين، اللهم ربنا صل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين، اللهم ربنا صل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم بلغنا رمضان، اللهم بلغنا رمضان، اللهم بلغنا رمضان، اللهم واجعلنا به من الفائزين، اللهم واجعلنا به من الفائزين. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك أن نكون في أيام العطاء من المحرومين، نعوذ بك أن نكون في أيام العطاء من المحرومين، نعوذ بك أن نكون في أيام ذكرك من الغافلين، نعوذ بك أن نكون في أيام ذكرك من الغافلين. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. أعز اللهم الإسلام وانصر المسلمين. اللهم اجعل هذا الشهر شهر عز للإسلام وتمكين، اللهم اجعل هذا الشهر شهر عز للإسلام وتمكين، اللهم اجعل هذا الشهر شهر عز للإسلام وتمكين. اللهم أبلغ لأمتنا أمرا رشدا يعز فيه أهل طاعتك ويهدى فيه أهل معصيتك ويحكم فيه كتابك ويؤمر فيه بالمعروف وينهى فيه عن المنكر. اللهم أبلغ لأمتنا أمرا رشدا يعز فيه أهل طاعتك ويهدى فيه أهل معصيتك ويحكم فيه كتابك ويؤمر فيه بالمعروف وينهى فيه عن المنكر. يا أرحم الراحمين ويا أكرم الأكرمين، احقن اللهم دماء المسلمين، اللهم احقن دماء المسلمين في مصر وفي سوريا وفي كل مكان يا أكرم الأكرمين. احقن اللهم دماء المسلمين، ارحم اللهم عبادك المستضعفين في فلسطين وفي كشمير وفي كل مكان يحارب فيه الإسلام والمسلمون يا رب العالمين. اللهم تولى إخواننا المستضعفين في بنغلاديش وفي بورما. اللهم تولى عبادك الجياع في الصومال. اللهم رد الأمة إلى كتاب ربها وسنة نبيها يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم ردنا إلى كتابك ردا جميلا، أنت الرحمن وأنت الرحيم يا أرحم الراحمين يا أكرم الأكرمين يا حي يا قيوم. برحمتك نستغيث، برحمتك نستغيث، برحمتك نستغيث. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اللهم أصلح لنا شأننا كله، أصلح لنا شأننا كله، ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ولا أقل من ذلك. لا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا فنهلك، ولا إلى الناس فنكون من المعدمين. اللهم لا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا فنهلك، ولا إلى الناس فنكون من المعدمين. اصرف اللهم عن الأمة فتن الفتانين ودجل الدجالين وكذب المبطلين يا أرحم الراحمين ويا أكرم الأكرمين. اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين، ارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين. وفق اللهم عبادك طالب رحماتك في هذه الأيام الطاهرة يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أد الدين عن المدينين، اللهم أجب دعاء المضطرين، اللهم انصر عبادك المظلومين. اللهم عليك بالظلم وبالظالمين وبأعوان الظالمين. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. صل يا رب وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. تقبل الله منا ومنكم، وكل عام وأنتم من الله